was fighting. I was literally on chat with the Google tech support guys because I couldn't. My phone just would not start the live feed. So yeah, I'm gonna do some live sharpening. I'm not even ready yet. Like I have to get water and stuff. So give me a couple minutes. We'll really get into it. But I got some sharpening to do. I figured why not just do it live. I know that light is kind of bothersome. Let's see if this is gonna. Can I do it this way? I should be able to do it this way. Shouldn't be a problem. So I have 3 Spydercos in for sharpening. And I was like, well, why not just do it? I had talked about it. I was wanting Ethan's here. I wanted to do these on Instagram. Because that's where I used to do like live sharpenings a lot, was on YouTube or Instagram, I mean. But the reason you guys haven't seen me live anything on Instagram is 100% because they blocked my ability to do lives a long time ago, and then they never gave it back. They never gave me a justification. They said something about the coof, that I had posted something that was like misinformation or something like that. But I only ever posted jokes, and you guys have followed my stuff. I've never posted anything really political on either. Maybe a little bit, but not much. And I am doing this for my phone, so sometimes that's not good, Ethan. Sometimes that's not good. A thin edge will slice, but a thin edge is not as strong. You have to find that happy medium. I believe, not to pick or poke fun, I believe that's what you did with your Demco. I think you were trying to get it too thin, and I don't think you ever 100% apexed it. So like I said, I've got a Spyderco in K390. I've never sharpened K390. I have a Spyderco in 204p, which I have done a lot. And I have one in Spyderco, and it's in CPM M4. So I believe I want to try and sharpen the one I've never done before. So these came in from my customer, Joseph. I have 3 of them in. He left a note. So what's he want done on this one? So K390, this one's going to be my daily most use. I'm OCD with aesthetics. So same here. Evening out the bevels and tip. No polish on this since it's K390. Wow, he really got this. Oh, wow. Okay. So there's going to be extra dew on these. Tube is who? What? Whose tube? Their tube? What tube? So just like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhoods, you guys always wonder, well, like, so this is what I wore into the garage. This is what you haven't seen. You haven't seen this in a video for a while. Typically, there's a sweatshirt that sits over that's there for the use when I come out to the shop or the studio. So what did I miss here? I haven't been watching. Yeah, he's going to use it. I can tell it's already been used. YouTube, no, I had issues. It just didn't want to interface. I hadn't updated my phone in a while, updated the app in a while. So I think that was part of it, but we got it working. And so this was 100% just technical glitches. So let me get out of this shirt and put on the shirt that I'm going to use. Hang on just a second. PDM shirt on this morning. So I got this shirt here. The other thing I was going to do, I was going to try and do a members only live feed for this morning. Yeah, no, it was a technical thing. I've had problems in the past doing this from my phone. So I 100% believe, whew, it is cold. It's 59 degrees in the garage this morning. I believe that it's just because I haven't done it for a while. I kind of forgot. So I've never sharpened K390, so we're gonna see how it does. I'll try it on a couple different stones, see what cuts the best. Right now, I'm back to digging on my Veneb stones. Stone hands, what's up? I gotta get this off. Guys, if you wear an Apple Watch and you do a lot of sharpening, it's really not good for it. There's all kinds of crap that gets down in the speaker holes and stuff, and then you get grit behind and it scratches the back face, and you know, the little features on it don't work so well. So we'll put that with my brand new phone and my new watch that I got both of those for free. So give me just a second and go fill this up with some water. So first, this is the first live sharpening in the new house. I don't believe I've done any sharpening. So it's not gonna be a tutorial. And I'm gonna try and figure out, this is something I'm gonna try and do for the paying members. I do not like the Para 3. I don't like it at all. It feels uncomfortable in my hand because it's all pocket clip all the way. Like it's all pocket clip all day, all the way. So K390 is something I haven't sharpened yet. So we're gonna start on 100 grit Vinev Diamond Stone. I believe. Let's see how this cuts. I haven't ever done these before. I don't know which. And guys, I'm on my phone, not on the computer, so I can't like put anyone's comments up. So, wow, this is so thin. I'm gonna have to talk to this guy. Like he thinned this out so thin that bevel is just not even a natural thickness for this bevel. See what we can do here. It's so thin. What's up, Dean? I figured I'd get to see if I started doing his morning ones. Like I said, I wanted to do these on Instagram like I used to, and I'm not able to live stream on Instagram. They have completely blocked my ability to live stream on Instagram, and so I was like, fuck it, I'll just do it here. So, man, I don't think I'm doing these right now. I think I'm gonna have to get a hold of this guy. He tried to sharpen these. I'm OCD with aesthetics, same here with evening out the bevels and tip. No polish on this one. So I'd rather have this one evened out from get-go. Well, a lot of times, I don't know what's going on with this. We'll see. I believe that he thinned this out way too much because that's not a very steep angle, and I'm not even close to evening out those bevels yet. So we'll see. We will see. So who all's here? I know why this feels weird and why I can't see what I'm doing. I'm not wearing my... Guys, I have officially gotten old. I need reading glasses to see what the fuck I'm doing when I'm sharpening. Distance vision is good, but I have the news playing up here. I'm trying to see what's going on. Guys, there's 15 people here, only 5 likes. If you're here, drop a like. That's the biggest... It's the biggest problem I have with anything I do on YouTube. Like people watch and they just don't drop a like. And I don't know if it's... Like if I'm watching a video and I'm there for more than a few seconds, I drop a like. I'm not telling you guys you have to. I'm just telling you for me. Don't forget to hit that. I can see the likes this time. What am I sharpening? I am currently sharpening a very badly profiled Spyderco Para 3. So I don't know. He said that he had done these himself. I think that he just tried to take these too thin. I'm gonna have to do a lot of work. So I don't know how well you guys can see. See how my edge comes up and then it's just not even. Hang on. Yeah, that's right. We can do this. I forgot. That's the nice thing about doing it on the phone. See, there's just, it's not even coming close to touching there. So look at that. That bevel is just too thin. And that's what I was saying. Nap Sergeant, what's up, bud? That's what I was saying when I wasn't picking Ethan. I think sometimes people try to thin an edge out too far, and then they run into problems because the edge is technically, I mean, it's just too thin. Elmax can be painful to sharpen. It depends if you're trying to do. Some knives don't respond to the diamond stones the way, as well as some of the others. Oh, my wife is up. She's singing. I don't know. That's either a good sign or she's completely lost her mind. And you guys may never hear from me again. So the problem with the Spyderco is this tip is completely at a different angle. Ethan! Member, you've been a member for 6 months. 6 months, woohoo, more to come. Thanks, Mike, for the amazing videos. Thank you, bud. See, I can see him here. So, guys, if you get upset when I'm doing a live feed, oh, guys, I've got to get the thumbnail ready for it and schedule it. I'm gonna do that all today. We got Bobby DeMarco from the Knife Junkie podcast on this Friday, so it's going to be an actual podcast this Friday. Why there are 19 people here at 10 o'clock in the morning my time? Why are you guys not working? Wow, he just really jacked this pretty badly. I don't believe you are working. Well, I know it. I know you. You're in Ireland. Yeah. I had somebody comment, he's not losing mind. His interview's been great. And I was like, I would say that I don't agree with that. Robbie Sullivan on lunch break, retired Marine, no work. I'm retired Navy, but I unfortunately still have to work. Right now, this is what I'm getting paid for. So this is gonna be a fucking chore. I think I am going to have to resort to a much more aggressive stone. Where are you? Is the whole family moving? You still live with your parents, Ethan? What do you mean suspended? Did you get suspended from school? I switched to a much more aggressive stone. This is an 80 grit diamond. I'm just gonna have to completely reprofile this because I'm gonna have to. You guys are gonna have to give me a second. I gotta talk to this guy because he's gotta. I'm gonna have to let him know it's gonna be more expensive. Let me see. I'm just gonna text this guy this. And my family's planning to move to Florida. I would love to move out of California, but my daughter's coach is here, all that stuff. Let's see here. I'll text this guy. Text. He's in Frisco, Texas. What was it? Hey, I just wanted to touch base with you real quick. I started sharpening your Spydercos, and the bevels are going to require a ton of reprofiling. Give me a second, guys. I'm just trying to get this. To make sure are aware Here we go. What I miss here? Free. So I had someone that I did some. Okay, I helped a guy out with a bunch of stuff, and he paid me to do what I was doing, and we we were talking, and he was like, "Hey, did you?" He's like, "You only have the one phone, right?" And he got to talking. He knew the Apple stuff, and apparently, I had one more line available I could use on my family plan that wouldn't cost me anything. And basically, he paid the tax for this phone and my Apple Watch, so that I could have a personal phone and the business line. So I'm currently filming on the business phone. It depends on how long it takes. I typically try not to overcharge for extra work, but if it is a very long, drawn out process, it could be as much as $15 or $20 per knife. Now I got to send him a picture and show him why. Bots. Yeah, if any of my moderators are here. As you can see, there is a lot of material that has to be removed to make the angle and bevel consistent. What? Bevel, not devil. What is up with you, with Siri? I mean, I try not to overtry, but this one's pretty bad. Guys, don't lift your elbow. If you lift your elbow, you wind up with problems. Biggest point I can give anyone that is freehand sharpening. It's not easy, Ethan. It's not easy because you gotta figure. There's a lot of us doing it already that have already established customer base and things like that. There's been a handful of people that are like, "Oh man, I'm gonna start sharpening and offering a sharpening service too." And I haven't seen very many of them that have stuck around very long. Just like me and Jared are about the only two that really have stuck around on. Okay, like I just said, I honestly don't know. It depends on how long it's going to take. Okay, he said he's good with it. Well, that's good because I already started it. So, but he already paid for the actual sharpening. That's just for reprofiling. Because I mean, I had a bunch of people tell me like you're undercharging. See, that's okay. So once again, not to pick Ethan. I'm not picking on you, and I'm not trying to dissuade you in any way from doing something you want to do. I honestly don't think if you can't freehand sharpen, you should not offer a sharpening service. If you can't offer all of the bells and whistles like doing convex edges, reprofiling back to an angle, doing a recurve and a tonto cleanly, then you probably shouldn't. Huh? So like there's a lot of other sharpening like guys out there like I'm a professional sharpener. I was like, yeah, so let me see one of your freehand mirror polished edges, and they're like, oh, I don't do freehand. Then you shouldn't call yourself a professional sharpener. That's just like if you're just buying a system and sharpening, then you're just an at-home sharpener. I wouldn't say that. I mean, it's kind of a lost skill. That's why I don't get, like, if you want to get a fixed, if you want to get a fixed angle system and do it that way, I mean, that's up to you. That's fine. It's not at all an issue. But like when you get these angles like this that are so, what is this? Okay, cool. I don't know if K390 is like a high carbon steel. I'm gonna try something. Sometimes stones, sometimes steels act differently on different stones. This is 100 grit aluminum oxide. Let's see if this stone's in some bad shape. That's all Aiden's fault. Sometimes these different stones can cut differently at a lower grit. So sometimes a more aggressive aluminum oxide stone will get you where you're going with certain steels better than a diamond stone. Man, his bevel was so thin there. Purple Heart Barbecue. What? Mike, what, Polly? No, I do not sharpen swords anymore. I've done it before when I took the Japanese sword arts. I actually taught myself how to sharpen and maintain some swords, but you don't actually sharpen a sword, you polish a Japanese sword. I do not sharpen swords. I haven't done it for a long time, but I had the stuff to do it, and that's part of the reason. It takes so long. It's so time intensive. You can't ever charge what it's worth. I typically stick to knives. I can do like large knives. I'm gonna have to spend a lot of time on this. Polly, why aren't you working? 21 people, 18 likes. Guys, if you're here, you should probably drop a like. If you're sticking around, you should probably drop a like. It would definitely help. I just sharpened a rock stud the other day. It's in the box up there. I'm going to carry it a little bit because the customer told me I could carry it and do a review. But I do want to get it back to him because what was this? Mike's edges are slightly convex, so setting them on a fixture system wouldn't benefit him, especially because how he honed when he's sharpening. I knew there was going to be something from Polly. So this is something you can't do on a fixtured system. I can focus on a spot and not wind up screwing up the rest of the angle because I'm focusing on a specific area. You really can't do that real well on a fixture or fixed angled system. Where is my rag? There it is. Holy cow, guys. This thing's in bad shape. I hate to work sharp. I don't like any powered systems. My stomach's doing all right. What you take on a work sharp Ken onion blade grind? I don't like any of those. I have an actual grinder. I make knives. I don't like any of those. Like if you just learn how to sharpen. Like all these little, it's an electric pull through with oscillating plates. I'm like, yeah. Still don't like it. It's not a good idea. Taking the time to learn how to freehand sharpen on stones. is going to always provide you with the best possible outcome. Burnt edges, exactly. Like people don't know how to use it. Then they try to go too thin. There's only one speed setting. Like I have a speed controller for my grinder. Oh, this is bad, bad. Polly, I'm ignoring you. It's be like one of those phone calls like, hey, what's this sound like? And then I hang up the phone. Oh, it sounds like a dial tone. These bevels were really inconsistent. We're gonna go back to. It's my favorite steel right now. I'm digging the DC 53 steel. Oh man, I can't listen to this right now. It's Polly just sent me a voice. And it specifically says, "Don't play that on the live." I was like, what did Polly send me? And he's like, "Don't play that on the live." Oh my! Gotta love Polly, guys. I am gonna tell you something. It's very tempting to think that you're going to be able to push and put pressure on these stones, and that's gonna get you somewhere, and it doesn't. All it does is it ruins your it just wears your stones out. I have not seen the O-Knife driver. I have the Beagle here. I did a video about the Beagle, and I'm going to do a giveaway of the Beagle before too long. I gotta reach back out to Cooey Knives. They said they were gonna send me something. And I haven't heard back from them. They said they were gonna let me know when they sent it, and I have not heard anything from them. That bevel's starting to get a little bit more consistent and even. This one needs to be brought back up just a little bit to marry in with the other one. That's fine. I mean, hell, I finished sharpening knives that day. I sharpened like 3 more knives that day, the day I did it. It healed up. It was a little tender, but I mean, it healed up pretty good. It's just one of those things that happens. It's not the first time I've ever stabbed myself. I've cut myself on lives and stuff like that. I cut myself in a live. Ooh, I just poked myself a little bit just there. I mean, I could see doing that, but I mean, I just prefer to have a company send me a knife that I don't have to mess around with. You know what I mean? Like, I've never had a Spyderco that came to me with a factory edge that just was not all wrecked. Hey, the wife's closing the door. I was like, the wife's coming out. No, it's not. So... And if you guys are trying to drop super chats, I don't know if I enabled super chats on this. I'm sorry. So I was trying to do like a members only, and it just wouldn't work. And then I couldn't get the video to actually start, and that's why it took so long. I know I'd had it scheduled to start at 9:55, and I figured there'd be a little bit of a delay, but the video wouldn't start. Like nothing I did, so I had to get on my computer. I had to get on a computer and get with Google Chat and get it figured out, and then we were able to save it, so I didn't have to reset. What's the sign a stone is worn out and doesn't cut? No, when you can see the metal backing through it or it cracks. Let me see if I got one that's real super thin. I have an old stone around here somewhere that I use for just cleanup stuff. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. I have an old, there. So what happens is it gets so thin that it starts coming away from the backing. So there's almost no stone left on this. I've used this down as thin, and then it starts chipping out at the corners and stuff like that. And so it's just for the sake of everything, so that you don't up and just go right through it. You just set them aside. Now I use this for things like I'll knock burrs off of a spine. If somebody's saying it's got some hot spots, and I'll use this is a 2300 grit stone, so at least pretty fair, fine polish. Like if somebody was saying, hey, could you just like knock the edges off of that? You just kind of knock the edges off. And then the other thing is sometimes if I've got a spot where it just feels like there's something stuck in the stone, instead of doing a complete flattening, I'll take this and see if I can't, like almost like a Nagura stone. But this doesn't leave it does not leave a residue. What is this? Do I prefer diamond stones? I don't care, to tell you the truth. This is a diamond matrix stone. These are Vinev stones. This is an Edge Pro aluminum oxide. This is an ultra sharp diamond plate, which we might wind up resolving to, I think, this 300, if this is the 300 grit, and see how that does. And then I've got Arkansas oil stones, composite whetstones, ceramic whetstones, natural powder compressed stones, white ultra fine. I use every stone because every steel is, some steels are a little bit different. So I don't have a preference. Whatever's going to give me the end result I'm looking for is what I'm going to use. Jesus, this is going to be time consuming. So yeah, that's just where I'm at with it. I don't like diamond stones on some of the softer steels. I've tried gluing it to the boat, it still looks under 10. It is. The only thing you can do is like let the stone bow and just keep the top flat. Like just got to flatten it with this. And if it is a little bowed, it's not going to hurt it that much because the radius on it really is not going to affect that much. The problem, if you glue it to stuff, I'm going to show you exactly what happens. This is why I won't buy any of the backed stones anymore. Every one of my Naniwa stones that I've ever had cracks. Right? See how it's cracked? It's cracked here. It's cracked here. It's because it's under tension and it tries to bow. I don't know why they do. That stone is basically a fairly new stone. That's an 8,000 grit, and I replaced that 8,000 grit with a Sharpening 8,000 grit. Now this is a Naniwa 10,000 grit, and it's the only one I've ever owned that has not cracked because it's not backed. I wouldn't back them with anything, but I just replaced my 8,000 grit with a Sharpening 8,000 cream. This won't though. These cut really well. So the first couple Naniwa stones I had, they held up really well. And then the last couple, they seem like they just want to come apart. So now I'm trying to even, now that I've got these bevels, I got to even them out because one is not the same as the other. I don't know why one of them is. I don't know if he was freehand sharpening and just didn't get the bevel quite the same on both sides. So now I have to thin this side out to match the other. I don't have a lot of opinions on it, actually, Mr. Chucky. I haven't got to see any of their new stuff, so I really can't make an informed decision. I don't, I mean, they were a brand that like a lot of people. Do you get any of the ceramic Spyderco Edge Pro Stones? No, I don't, Beardo. I've never tried them. I'm not as big a fan of the diamond stones as I am some of the other flat bench stones, or the ceramic stones. They have a tendency to be a little slick, and it's easy to get off your angle if you're not paying attention. I don't get as much. I don't feel I get as much feedback from the Spyderco stones as I do some of the other stones. And for me, I got to have a lot of feedback because for me, it's not good. God. 1 o'clock, right? I have to leave.
12:50.
12:50. She knows what time we have to leave, right?
Like 45 or before 1.
Okay. So yeah, guys, this is why I charge it. If I have to do this much reprofiling, let's look at it. I haven't even finished setting the bevels yet and evening this out, and there's still a lot to do, like a lot. And we're already at 36 minutes. Granted, I've been talking with you guys while I'm doing it, but still, like, that's a lot of work. He said that he screwed these up by he tried to freehand sharpen them on diamond stones and kind of got the angles off. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? There's a lot of material to remove on this tip to even this bevel back out. So, but I mean, you guys know Spyderco's bevels are historically inconsistent at best. So yeah, but I'm not practicing, I'm repairing. Oh, okay, I gotcha. So guys, like I said, we've been doing this for a while, right? Let me turn this around. Can you see? Like even that much that I've been doing to reprofile this, and there's still a bad spot back here at the heel. Even with all that, we still have to remove enough material to make those that edge meet that bevel. And it's almost as bad on this side. Can you see my angle and then the angle that was on it? I have to remove all that material to make these bevels match. So it's gonna be a while. It's gonna be. I gotta get you guys back in the stand. Wow, man. There's multiple angles too. It's faceted. There's multiple. I can see multiple lines on it. You leaving right now? Okay. Is her skating stuff ready? Babe, I got my reading glasses on. I can only see what's in front of me. I don't know what you're doing. Ask Aiden his favorite. Aiden, what are we talking about? I missed something. 26 people here, only 24 likes. But 24 likes is better than 3. Biggest advice I can give anybody, if you're going to try and learn how to freehand sharpen, don't do it on a nice knife. You know what I mean? You're going to be upset with yourself in the long run. I do have to think. I think I probably should thank. Ooh, I should probably thank Wicked Edge for all the business I wound up getting, because people get a Wicked Edge and then really, really screw their knives up and then send them back to me. Mr. Wallace, how are you? I haven't looked up what K390 is. K390 another one of those super, super hard steels? Is that why I'm currently struggling and fighting with this thing? Because I'm on an 80 grit diamond, and it's fighting me every step of the way, and I still have 2 more of his knives that are as bad, if not worse. Yeah, that explains. It's really wear resistant. Let's see what this does. Sometimes the diamond plates will cut better on certain things than even a really aggressive coarse. I knew that K390 was hard. Yeah, I've done all kinds of Puma knives. I own a couple Puma knives, actually. There's some pretty good knives. I like Puma. The older stuff. I don't like so much of the newer stuff. Once they started moving their stuff, like the stuff I have was still made in Germany before they moved to, I think Taiwan is where they make a lot of their stuff now. Don't get me wrong, they're still good knives. They're just, I don't think they're as good as the old school ones. You don't want to sharpen that. I'm gonna tell you right now, that's not something you put on a stone and sharpen. That's something you send back to me, and I put it on a leather belt, just re-edge it. Okay, so those Kiridashis are like a flat, but they're done on a platen, and the platen will have inconsistencies, so that's not going to be perfectly flat. It's not going to do what you think it's going to do. There's going to be a high spot in the middle, and it's going to take you. You will literally. The last time I hand sharpened one of those Kiridashis, it took me 4.5 hours. That's why I don't do them that way anymore. That's why they're not all hand sharpened. That's a belt edge and a leather belt. You do not want, I'm telling you right now, Ethan, tell him no. Because I don't care how much you want a challenge. You don't want that much of a challenge because it's going to cost you money. Because you will ruin stones. What's up, Stacy? Just fixing a customer's hiccups here. No, it's not selling job security. It's just that, like, I realized real quick I couldn't. Okay, so what happens is the belt rubs on the platen, right? So it might look straight, but what happens is the material behind where it gets used a lot on that work surface disappears. So what happens is as you're grinding and you're in that area, the belt actually conforms, and so there's a spot here where it looks flat, but then you're actually in on it, and so the edge winds up being like this, which means that then it has a high spot right in the middle. I can do it on a belt and marry it up real quick, but I can't do it on a stone real quick. I'm not joking. I ruined one of these. And when I did it, I literally had to do so much sharpening. I sharpened holes in my fingers. Like my fingers were bleeding from being on the stone and making contact. I'm just letting Ethan know that he probably What's up, Aiden? It's kind of being a sharpening nightmare. I'm not gonna lie to you. And the fact that the bevels are so badly inconsistent is not making it any easier. I think this one is. I think this diamond plate though is doing the best so far because it's just the way the diamonds are on it. I think it's doing a better, more consistent job. Yeah, it definitely is. I'm seeing that angle move back a lot quicker on this stone. So I can't do this all day. I'll do this for a bit. I do have to take my daughter to the ice rink. What I see there? What was that? Patina. There's a bunch of people here. I didn't think there'd be this many people here. That's not what he wants. I have to do what the customer wants. He wants a single bevel, and I don't like micro bevels anyway. I don't like that double bevel. It looks like trash. What it looks like is like, oh, I didn't know what I was doing, so now I have to go back and start over. I don't like that. I find them unattractive. I mean, and you get the same way, you basically get the same thing from a good convex. Aiden! Thanks, buddy. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. I don't like Apostle P's edges. As a matter of fact, I wound up, not intentionally, but I poached a bunch of his customers because one, they weren't happy with the edges they got, and two, they weren't happy with the time frame it took. So, don't get me wrong, I've talked to Rob. He's an all right guy. He's just Rob's not real good. I don't think Rob's really not good as a people person. He's a good enough guy. Don't get me wrong. But I had a lot of people that were unhappy with the customer service they got and the way the edges cut, and then just basically like how long it took to get stuff done. Like I'm a little bit behind now, but I've been sick and busy, and I've got so much stuff going on, and I'm actually trying to wind up getting back to work, so videos might be fewer and farther between. But
No, you don't have a Uniqlo jacket too.
I'm about to get pissed. If my daughter lost that like $200 jacket she has. She lose her jacket?
Girls' jacket, boss.
She leave him at the ice rink? Which ice rink?
No.
Fuck.
We're talking about that there.
Unless I left it up the seat when we were talking about Lexi.
Did you contact Lexi?
I did, but I mean,
From India.
what's she gonna do?
Wow.
What's she gonna do?
You
Ask
can
her
ask her
if she grabbed it.
You didn't there.
I did, but what is she gonna do? She's not there today.
Not going there, nothing. I gotta go there.
We'll leave a little bit early. We'll go to Croc Center and ask them if they found it.
They're not open today.
You mean they're not open today?
They don't have a session
There's still people there. Never mind. I don't care if the ice rink isn't open. I think that this stone has done the most.
I think they're gonna come shoes today, but the Jones no.
Oh, so I'm doing it at home anyways. But I can put them on.
Native Wildman, haven't seen you around for a while. So yeah, I think I've almost got this. I just have to kind of focus on that tip a little bit. Just the tip, just for a second. We'll address it in a second.
I can call the clock center.
I'll call. It's okay. I'll take care of it in a little bit. Let me finish.
You don't have to go to.
Do it now.
Okay, that's
You
fine.
don't have to go to the clock center because.
I'm doing a live feed. That's why I was just saying I can call later. That way. What was this? These are not DMTs. I tried these Ultra Sharps. I don't dislike them, but they don't have as aggressive a grit as you can get in the DMTs. And so it takes a little bit longer sometimes to set what you're wanting to do. Because this is only a 300 grit, but it is cutting better than that. It's actually doing a better job than that really coarse diamond. Sometimes coarser isn't the answer. I've said that a bunch of times. Sometimes if you're not getting where you want to go on a specific stone, sometimes going to a higher grit sometimes allows you to, I don't know why. I'm not going to try and explain why. I'm just saying sometimes it gets you where you're going. You know what I mean? And I think it has a lot to do with how these like DMT style plates cut versus my wife's calling to see if they have it at the Lost and Found at the ice rink right now. I've sharpened literally thousands. I've said it before, and somebody's like, "Well, that's a fucking way to flex." I'm like, but I've said it. I've probably sharpened more knives than I've sharpened more knives than most people will ever see, handle, touch, or own in a lifetime. It just is, that's just what it is. I have sharpened, I mean, think about it. For a while, I sharpened every Ferrum Forge that came out of the house. Every knife that they did got one of my edges. What is this? You know what? The 50 grit beast would actually work really good in this situation. Because, like I said, sometimes I don't know why, but these DMT plates seem to cut more aggressively. I'm just not a fan of the edge they leave. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get upset, but I do know that the jacket was expensive.
It's expensive.
And, like,
But
this
no
isn't the
one
first
there
time we've
today.
told her she's got to take care of her shit.
No one there today.
That's fine. Lexi might be able to get in. I'll text her and ask her. Wild Man's birthday. I didn't see that. Happy birthday, Wild Man. I know, I heard you. Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for him.
So I'm not sure. John said out of town, looks like.
Well, we can get him to mount him later.
No, he's not coming back until 10.
Hang on a second, guys. I gotta get some more coffee. I'll be right back. If anybody shows up, just keep telling them not to go anywhere. I'll be right back. So I guarantee that there's going to be a lot of people that would watch this and go, why don't you just take it out and put it on your grinder instead of new edge? That can leave you with as many problems as this. Let's not talk politics. So taking it out and putting it on my grinder can leave me with as many issues as I started with, because I don't care how hard you try, you don't know exactly how hot you got the very apex. No, it's not black coffee. I've reached a point where I don't drink black coffee anymore. But I drink it out of a CrazySharp mug. Yeah. Be safe. We'll leave here 12:40. She'll be there at the ice rink.
You want to take ice cream? Crook said they don't have to go.
I know. You said, I know. You said the 12:40, so she gets there at 1, so she has time to warm up.
12:45.
Okay, yeah. Well, same thing. I went to pick her up from school yesterday. And typically it's like maybe 10 minutes. And so I had dropped her off at school, and I went to go pick her up from school, and there was an accident. And like, when I say it was an accident, what's up, Zach? I was just talking about fixed blades yesterday, and I was mentioning the fact that I've gotten a bunch of fixed blade gifts, including the one you sent me. But at any rate, I'm going down, and I get off, and I realized, because there's no way to take the surface streets up to where my daughter's school is. She only has in-person school 2 days a week. She does everything else here at the house. And I was like, I get off and I hit like one exit past ours. Like I get on the freeway. I get off of our freeway that we live on, because you have to take the exit. And then I get on the 805. And all of a sudden I realize, like, it's a parking lot, and there's no real way for me to get where I'm going on surface streets. And all the exits are full anyway. And I was like, I talked to my daughter. I was like, I'm going to be late. There is an accident, and obviously it's a pretty bad one. And I got up there, and so I was talking with my sister back and forth over my Apple Watch, because you can't text, but I can use my watch. And she was like, I told her, I was like, yeah, I'm going a whopping 1 mile an hour right now. And I sent Aiden a video of it. And she was like, well, how bad was the accident? And I was like, you know how the wheels are supposed to be on the bottom? She's like, yeah. And I was like, wasn't like that. That car was completely flipped over. Because I have almost got this where I need to go with it. I really have. But the problem is you have to work both sides evenly. So if you don't, you get an inconsistent bevel and inconsistent tip. I just like the fact, like, if you gave me an Android, I would screw it up. There's too many options. I like the fact that there is nothing I really could do to make my Apple Watch, an Apple phone, stop working the way it worked when it came to me. And that's because there's some things I just don't have access to. They did once allow you access, like you could delete any app. I deleted my email and music and everything by accident. And now you can't do that. Too many people were, who cares, the ultra sharp plates? These aren't bad. I mean, I just don't think that they're going to last as long as the DMT plates did. But they're good for the price. I will have to agree with that. So I think I've almost got this. We are almost there, guys and gals. And furries, or whatever you associate with, whatever you... I don't want to be listed as non-inclusive. I have not I do believe you mean the Atoma diamond plates, though. Because I don't know what kind of aroma a diamond plate would have. We are almost there. I have almost got this symmetrical. I have almost got an even bevel. It's never going to have an even bevel. This knife has got issues with the actual grind. It's thicker. I can feel it. It's thicker in places. Atoma. I mean, like, what kind of aroma? Is it like... lavender, eucalyptus, bitter orange. How do they do it? Do they add like some lemon oil or? I gotta see here. So this guy says he's really OCD about the equal bevels and stuff. I'm just gonna have to tell him there's no way that these bevels are gonna be completely equal because this knife has got a low spot ground into it here. So if you can see the, you can't see the bevel. I can kind of make it look as even as possible. Who cares? What did you write that you retracted it? I think a lot of things go wrong. What could possibly go wrong? That's a question you never ask. It's like taking an umbrella to a racetrack. That's just things that you don't do. Newman Outdoors Newman. I like the sheepdog design as an aesthetic, and they're good knives. They just do not appeal to me. Jared has sent me 3 different ones, and I didn't like any of them. I'm not saying they're not a good design. I can look at it and go, I can see why people would like this. It's just, it's not for me. Guys, guess what? I think we've almost got this even. Just have to do a little bit of work on this side. I think we're ready to move up in grit. I think we're about maybe a little bit on this. I don't use EDCI, so I don't know, but I would say if you've got a question about it, I'd reach out to Jim Skelton because I think he owns the company now. Do believe that my buddy Jim Boy owns EDCI. I have a guy that I will sharpen his sword. I told him I will sharpen his sword. He said if he ever becomes the UFC champ, my buddy Will, I told him I will sharpen his sword for him. But he's got to foot the bill for all the stuff that I need to do it. He is currently I don't know what promotion he fights for now. I think it might be Bellator. He had a UFC fight. I do know that. Just trying to even out last little hiccups of inconsistency in those bevels. How often do I recommend? I don't know. I haven't oiled any of mine in ever. I don't know. It just depends on the climate where you're at. It's fairly dry here in San Diego. No, I don't like replicas, knockoffs, or any of that. I'm friends with the guys at Chris Reeves Knives. I don't like any of those companies that make replicas or homage. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's a fancy way of saying, hey, I stole a design because I can't make my own. I won't even look at them. I don't even care. Like people are like, oh, this one's really well made. I don't care. That's why I don't watch Patty's potato peelers, because he'll put them on there and try and say, you know, oh, it's still a good knife, and this. I don't care how good the knife you think it is. It's out and out theft, and you're stealing. And the thing is, I know most of these people. Like I'm friends with the folks at Chris Reeve Knives. I'm friends with Jim Skelton. I'm friends with the folks at Microtech. I'm friends with a lot of other knife makers in the community. And when their stuff gets ripped off, people are like, well, it's not that big a deal. It kind of is that big a deal. So I don't like, you heard me say it. So I went from a 300 grit back to a 100 grit. And I'm going to tell you why. I don't like the edges that the DMT plates leave. I don't like the way they cut. I don't like the way they feel. They just feel gritty, and I don't like them. So I am back down to a 100 grit, a Nevstone, just to take off all the stuff that I did on that 300 grit, because I just don't like it. I do like the edges that I get on these the Nevstones. They give a very good, clean, consistent edge, and I will probably finish it on that 1100 grit. I'm trying to matrix stone, trying to make sure that I've got a consistent bevel all the way down. The knife has got some grind issues on its, just on its own merits. There's some low spots in the grind. Like, guys, Spyderco, why? How hard is it? I can do a consistent grind freehand. You got machines that should be able to do it. God, that old jacket thing pisses me off. And I try not to lose my shit, but the fact is, she's 14. The skating stuff is her responsibility. I'm not the one skating. I should not have to put work into it. Let me ask this. Ask Lexi Hernandez. I know that the ice rink is closed today, but do you think you could ask someone if they found Isabel's white down jacket and her rockers?
Ready to send it? Okay, it's sent.
Okay, what have I missed in the... We're at 68 minutes. For the price you're paying for a Spyderco these days, they shouldn't be doing anything real fast. 12C27, it's a Sandvik. It's a pretty good steel. I like 14C better, but it's a viable, it's a very good steel. It's going to be real similar, the edge it takes, real similar to 14C or D2. Or to tell you the truth, that DC53 reminds me a lot of 14C or 12C Sandvik. So, guys, I have a video that's going up today. I shot the video and edited and everything last night and got it up. There's a video at 4 today. I'm going to try and, if I have sharpenings, if I have stuff in for sharpening, I'm probably going to keep doing these, like the Tuesday, Thursday sharpening. Do I hate ZT? No, I just don't think that they're cracked up to be these days. A lot of inconsistencies, like sort of like with Spyderco, inconsistencies in grind and some issues with some of their quality control stuff. But I mean, they're still okay knives. Like some of the Kershaw's are still good too. So at this point, I'm going to switch to my diamond matrix stones, because I think on this it's going to give a better finish. I don't know. I've never had a stainless Opnel. All I've ever had is the carbon steel ones, which I love them. So now, off we go to these. So I need, that's not it. The Venevs were not that expensive. I got them from Gritomatic. I forget who recommended them to me. I got them from Gritomatic, and they were pretty good. Now, I will say that the Matrix Diamond Stones that I'm using right now are a little bit more pricey. I honestly say, though, that I think they give you a better finish product, a better edge at the end. I like them a lot, but there are some limitations. They don't do real well on any of the softer steels. The softer steels have a tendency to load them, and they do require a lot of maintenance. Like, you have to clean them out a lot. If you've got a Nagura stone, you can clean them up pretty good as well, just like the Venev stones. The Venev stones have a tendency to leave more artifacts. I don't think the grit is as consistent in the Venev stones as it is in these diamond matrix stones. But, you know, it's depends on what you're looking to do. You know, if you're looking for specific, like, I just want the knife to be, the edge to be great and clean, and yeah, the Venev stones are probably great, and you don't care about the aesthetics of it. I like to do both. I like to have a really consistent, good edge and have it be aesthetic. I mean, there's no reason you can't have both. That's why I have so many different stones. But like I said, if you're dealing with like some softer steels, diamonds aren't always your answer. You know what I mean? I'm currently just trying to clean up this heel. I like buck knives too. I have a buck 119 special that was a gift from one of the subscribers. Now, here is where I have to do something a little out of the norm. I gotta get that stone in there so that I can. So the heel on this, I have to try and clean it up because, like he said, he's really particular. I'm trying to clean up just the very heel of this. This is a good grit to do it on. This is what is this? K390. Have a little 3-inch. I have a couple of the traditional buck folders somewhere around here in my drawers and drawers full of stuff. Maximus. Call it Maximus. I've actually gotten to where I don't mind sharpening it. It's gotten better. So a lot of it was, those were some first runs. They were done. They were ground really, really poorly. There was a lot of work, and I didn't exactly have all of the proper stones for something like that. I do now, and I do Maximus. It's not the same price. It's still difficult. It's still, on a production, it's still a nightmare. The stuff that Big Brown Bear did, I sharpened some of his Maximet, did not have a problem with it. But his stuff is extremely thin, and his heat treat is just on point. So, you know, you can't compare the two. Like his Maximet and production Maximet are going to be two completely different animals. So you know what I mean? Like you can't really compare the two. It's not apples and oranges. It's apples and watermelons. So, hey, was that Sean? Was that Blades and Fades? Bro, I just did a start to finish straight razor sharpening the other day. I don't know if you saw it. Now I have to ask this guy another question. Okay, the heel on these are really bad, and some of the bevels that you cut in are hard to remove without damaging my stones. Are you wanting me to even that out, since that's not an area that most people cut with, especially on a Spyderco, which is historically historically. Let's see, I can get down in there with these stones. Let's see if I can even this out. Let's see here. I just hate. Hear that? That's my stone banging up against. I hate doing this. This is so bad for my stones. I'm just ragging it all on that fucking plunge that Spyderco does so poorly. You hear it? He didn't answer. I don't want to spend my entire day. I don't want to make a career out of this knife. You know what I mean? God, that's bad. And a lot of this is his fault too. So. Oh, it's so bad. So much. 80 minutes on this knife. Not to try and like sound like I'm reprimanding my customers, but if you've got, I don't recommend starting to sharpen or learning to sharpen on something that costs more than about 40 bucks. You want to get a practice knife, sharpen on a Rhea. It's a forgiving steel. You can get your feel for how you want your angles, and you can just get right into it and start practicing. And if you ruin it, it's like a $40 knife. You know what I mean? I typically do not recommend starting on anything more than about $40 to learn how to sharpen. If you're on a fixtured system, that you can step that up a little bit, as long as you're not trying to go too thin on stuff and you're taking your time. You can get away with it on some of the fixtured systems like a Wicked Edge or an Edge Pro or a KME or a TS Prof or that Work Sharp guided, you know, not the powered one, but the guided one with the stones like this. I don't recommend trying to teach yourself how to freehand sharpen on something that you're going to be upset with the end result. You know, until you get good at it. There's sharpening servers. There's me, Jared, there's a couple other guys that do sharpening. I do mine a little bit different. My edges are a little different, and they come in, they have a tendency, because I do a full convex, and I have a specific technique that I think gets you a better edge, and then the way I strop and everything. But, you know, I don't think I've sharpened Buck's S35BM, but I will say I've had a lot of Buck knives, and I don't think I ever had one that had a bad heat treat. So .440C, 440HC is really hard. I'm going to tell you right now. I have several knives that I just finished in S110V. S110V is easy. S110V is actually easier than this. I've made knives in S125V that will, like, after heat treat, they're like 67 Rockwell. You can score glass with them. I've sharpened those. So, guys, I think I'm gonna end this. It's been an hour and 20 some odd minutes, and I've got that customer who wants to talk, and I need to get ready. I have to start getting ready to take my daughter to the ice rink here before too much longer. So I'm gonna cut this, but I mean we're basically done. We have these bevels set. Now they're nice and even. Here, I'll bring you up. So I have it set to like 250. I'm still working on that heel. As you can see, that heel right there has got a low spot, but the bevel's nice and consistent and even now. And so I think we're where we need to be on this. I'm gonna give this guy a call, and I'm gonna let you guys go because, like I said, I gotta get ready to take the kid ice skating. So yeah, I'll holler at you here. I'll holler at you guys later. Tomorrow on the live feed, tomorrow night, I have Bobby DeMarco from the Knife Junkie podcast. So feel free to drop by, hang out, and see what me and Bobby are talking about. So It should be fun. I had fun when I was on Bobby's podcast, and we've been trying to figure out a time to get him on mine. So, guys, like I said, if you haven't dropped a like on your way up, please drop a like. And if you want to support the channel, all kinds of stuff down below. I will see you guys later.